poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another anime review. But before we get into that, I want to eat your pancreas. Would you let me? That is the topic of today's video because that is the movie, the anime movie that we are taking a look at. It is called Can I Eat Your Pancreas? Or I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. And it is a movie that you can watch online. I do believe it's either on Crunchyroll, I believe it's Netflix on some countries, and Funimation isn't a thing anymore, so you can't watch it there. I think it's on Hulu as well. I saw a couple of screenshots of it on Hulu at some point when I was collecting these screenshots for this video. But I did see this recommended to me on TikTok, and it said it was going to make me cry. So I'm like, you know what? Let's see. Let's see if this show does make me cry. Long story short, it doesn't make me cry. But let's get into what Google has to say anyway. So, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas is a 1 hour and 48-minute movie, and it has a 8.6 out of 10 on my anime list and an 8 out of 10 on IMDb. So, an aloof boy comes across a book in a hospital waiting room. He discovers that it's a diary kept by his very popular classmate who reveals to him that she is secretly suffering from a fatal pancreatic illness. So, that's what Google is. That's what Google says. So let's quickly run through the story. And again, yes, it does start off like that. And then they become very quick friends. She follows him home. She joins the library club. And like they go out to eat for the next 2 days. They go out for an overnight trip to another part of Japan. They then like have a really good time. They come back, they go out, they go back to her place, play video games, read some more books, do some more library work, and then they get into an argument, they fall out, her ex appears and beats the shit out of him. She then gets put in the hospital for 2 weeks, and then an extra 2 weeks, and she sneaks out to go see fireworks with him. When she's finally going to be released, they agree to meet up at the sort of cafe they went to on the first day that they met, and she gets stabbed, and she dies. She then basically gives the notebook to him, the diary to him, and he has to explain it to her best mate. And that's where the movie ends. That's where the movie ends. I'm going to be honest, it is a very predictable story, but that doesn't mean it's a bad story. Sometimes predictable isn't always bad. Sometimes predictable is quite good. I wasn't expecting the twist that she was going to get stabbed. I genuinely thought she was going to die to the pancreas disease because obviously we were told straight off the bat that she was going to die. So I was very shocked to see her get stabbed, but I knew she was going to die. So that's why I didn't cry. Like I knew it was coming. I knew it was inevitable. I knew it was on its way. So I was already prepped and loaded for the sad ending of this relationship, but it was very interesting to see how this relationship was built up. It seemed to have a very rocky, very pushy start by the girl. She seemed to be very forward and basically open and honest like the entire way, but also very sort of pushy and forceful with the fact that she wanted to be his mate and constantly wanted to go out with him. She wasn't really taking no for an answer, and she was very confident, and it always seems to be that way in anime. It's always the girl that is pushy and straightforward, is always straight to the point, and that is always sort of asking to go out. It's always the guys that are the quiet, sort of lonely type that sort of stick by themselves and sort of sit in the corner of the classroom looking out the window. Standard anime trope with him sat at the back right corner looking out the window thinking about something, lost in his thoughts. Very, very standard anime stuff. But it was a very weird story. I'm gonna be honest. It didn't make me cry, and that's the big thing that I want to focus on. Because when I saw this recommended to me on TikTok, I read the comments just to see if there was any more information that I could get on it before I watched it. And people were apparently crying for hours, absolutely bawling their eyes out at the "Can I cry now" bit, where he absolutely burst into tears. I didn't cry. I didn't find this movie all that sad. Like I knew what was coming. I knew what was happening. I knew they were gonna die. Like we knew that from the start of the movie. It was not a spoiler. And because of that, it wasn't like a shock to me, or it wasn't like as much of a shock like when she got shanked, because it was still like shocking that she got stabbed, but they did sort of draw attention to like a murderer at the start of the film. They were talking about people being stabbed in the street, just like a couple of towns over. So they did already draw attention to it and set it up as a plot point early on in the movie. And I like that. It was a nice callback. It was really good storytelling with setting something up all the way at the start of the movie, which you just think is like a throwaway line. But it actually comes back and is very important to the story. We obviously have the recurring joke of like her eating Pancreas to try and heal her pancreas and asking if she can eat his pancreas, and that's where the title comes from. But I'm gonna be honest, I still think that's really weird and pretty gross. I don't even know what the pancreas is. I don't even know what it does. I'm gonna be honest. I got a 4 in like science, so again, I didn't even do the GCSEs. I was a COVID kid. I got out of it, but still, I don't even know what the pancreas does for the body. I don't even know what it's about or what happens with it. So that's great. Animation style is very similar to other movies that I have seen. I do feel like it's very similar to Wolf Children, but it's still a really interesting art style. This movie did come out in 2018, so it is fairly recent. Holy shit, no, it's not. Holy shit, it's like almost 8 years old. It's like 7, 8 years old. Holy shit, that it's an old movie. I'm getting old. Time's going too fast. What the fuck? Um, all right, so it isn't a fairly recent movie. You've had plenty of time to watch it, and I've only just got around to it because of TikTok. And I hate saying that. That I got recommended a load of shit on TikTok. I saw a cool scene on TikTok and I decided to watch it. And I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't the best anime movie that I have watched. It was a very basic storyline. It was a romantic storyline, and I did quite like the characters, and I was enjoying the situations that they were in. It was just a real good sort of feel good movie, and it was really nice, and it put a little bit of time pressure on as well, that they had to build up this relationship in a short amount of time because they knew she was going to go, so you had to sort of get a lot done in this real short amount of time. But still, I wasn't that upset when she died. I wasn't that sort of distraught by it. It was sort of like, I don't know, I felt like it was quite obvious and that it was like you knew it was going to happen, so it wasn't really that big of an impact when it did finally come to fruition. I don't know. That's me. I got a heart of stone. I'm not that big of a not that big of an emotional guy, I guess. However, I cried when Spider-Man died in Infinity War, so do with that information what you will. The water was beautiful. I really like the water. The water at the beach, gorgeous. Like the whole animation style was just beautiful, and the music was really good as well. Like I don't normally talk about the music with animes unless it's like the intro, or the outro, but the music in this was absolutely incredible. I really loved the visuals as well at the end when she was dead. Like those really bright sort of blues, pinks, reds, purples and greens and yellows when she was flying through that sort of blossom world was absolutely beautiful and stunning. I thought that was really cool. And again, it just looked too happy and upbeat to make me sad. It just looked too good to make me feel sad. It made me actually quite happy to see all that beautiful sort of shit going on. It was just really pretty and really fucking cool. Like holy fucking shit. There was no need for it to fucking hit that hard, but it did. It was so fucking solid. Like the animation style and shit was solid. I fucking thoroughly enjoyed it. But the voice acting was okay. It wasn't the best voice acting that I've heard. The crying at the end was terrible. Like you could tell that they wasn't crying. You could tell that they were just acting and faking it. But other than that, I feel like they did pretty well conveying all the other emotions. It's just the fake crying that they wasn't good at. Again, I do watch dub because I can't read, so I watched it all in dub. Um, just because it's easy for me to understand. So do with that information what you will. Again, it's just what I watched it in, so that'll be what I'm commenting on instead of the sub voice actors. I'm doing the dub, and they couldn't cry for shit. Is all I'm saying. There was there was a lot of crying from all the actors, and none of it was that good. To be fair, you you could tell like that their fake screams were just not that good. I don't like talking about the voice actors and saying how not good they were because I know it's people trying their hardest, but it wasn't great. It wasn't that good. I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. it wasn't the worst anime movie I've seen, but it wasn't the best. I probably won't ever watch it again, but I have watched it now, and it's okay. It's all right. It ain't brilliant, but it ain't terrible. So I feel like it does deserve the sort of mid 5 to 6 out of 10. If you do want me to do any other movie reviews, anime reviews, please do let me know down in the comments below what you do want me to check out. But other than that, there isn't much else for me to talk about with this movie, so I'll see you all later. Bye bye. Go watch another one.